Hello fellow readers and readeresses, and welcome to the some number installment of The Lord of the Reeds 2, The Two Libraries, The Most Precious TBR game. Today we shall select my TBR for June of 2025, and after the fiasco that was last month's TBR, I'm really hoping for a bit more of a chill one, though if past history is any indicator, I have no reason to be hopeful of anything. If you're not familiar with The Lord of the Reeds and you wish to become intimately acquainted with it, you can watch this video over here. But in a nutshell, we need to get from here to here by rolling a 12-sided dice as many times as it takes to achieve this goal, and each time we land on a tile, we pick a book to correspond to its prompt. Speaking of tiles, there are 4 kinds, starting with the empty one, which has no prompt, so upon landing on it, I'll have to pick one of the prompt cards. There are 100 of those, and each of them contains a different Lord of the Rings related reading prompt. Next we have the TBR jar tile, which prompts me to pull one of the books from the TBR jar, and if you're curious as to what's inside, you can watch the January TBR video. Then we have the series tile, which prompts me to pick one of the series I currently have stuck in progress and continue with it. And last, and definitely least, we have the Dead Marshes tile, which not only prompts me to either go back to the previous Dead Marshes tile or to the beginning of the game, but to add insult to injury, it prompts me to pull one of the books from the bookshelf jar, which contains all the books that I currently own and haven't yet read, which is for some reason never a nice thing. And once I reach the end of the map, I get to pick one book as a reward for my efforts. Now, if you like The Lord of the Reeds and you wish to play it for yourself, I have provided both printable and digital version, both of which you can find in the video description. Enjoy! There's one more thing left to do before we actually start playing the game, and that is to look at the prompt cards that I got last time and see whether I get to add them to my collection, as well as the additional points that were awarded to me by Gandalf, which was my companion. So let's do that right now. So the first prompt card I got was The Last Alliance of Elves and Men, which is a part of the Battles collection, and its prompt was read a buddy read book. For this one I chose Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio, and unfortunately while I started reading it, I was unable to finish it before the end of the month. The next prompt card I got was Ring of Barahir, which is a part of the Rings of Middle-earth collection, and its prompt is a book recommended by a favorite author. For this one I chose The Big Nowhere by James Ellroy, which is recommended by Joe Abercrombie allegedly, but unfortunately while I started it, I really quickly decided to DNF it, and if you're curious as to why, you can watch my May reading wrap-up. The next prompt card I got was The Fall of Gil-galad, which is a part of the Songs and Poems collection, and its prompt is the name of the author starts with the same letter as yours. For this one I chose Carrie by Stephen King, and I'm happy to report that I was able to read it. And the fourth and final prompt card I got was Manwë, which is a part of the Valar collection, and its prompt is read the highest rated book on your TBR. For this one I was forced to choose The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, but while I started reading it I realized that I'd forgotten book 1 and I decided to drop it for now. So at the end, 1 prompt card gets added to my collection and 3 go back into the deck. In addition to that, thanks to Gandalf's special skill, I get 2 additional points because I was able to read 2 fantasy books in May, and as a result I get a total of 5 points, which allows me to buy 2 books this month, which I actually already bought. Now that all that nonsense is out of the way, let's roll to see who's gonna be my companion this month. And we have a 2. Which means that my companion for the month will be Boromir with his special skill Redemption, which allows me to redraw a card once, or if I land on the Dead Marshes, it allows me to redraw a book once. Cool! And little Boromir goes on the board as my avatar. Now, it's finally time for roll number 1 for June. It's always so exciting in the beginning. And we have a 4. A slow but steady beginning, I would say. So, a bit of a slow start, but there is nothing to be discouraged about. It's just a beginning. We can always catch up later. Let's see. Tom Bombadil, read a mystery. Ooh, I really love this prompt, and I want to think about it, and I'll come back in a second. Alright, so after a short deliberation, I decided to go with a book whose title I forgot. It's written by Agatha Christie and is book number 8 in the Hercule Poirot series. I think it was Peril at some house, but what house it was I can't tell you for the life of me. All I know about it is that it is book number 8 in the Hercule Poirot series, and I prefer to go into these books fully blind because they're very short and I don't want to be spoiled in any way, shape or form by the synopsis, which seems to happen very often these days. I feel like my ring light is blinking somehow. It's been a while since I read an Agatha Christie book and I've been really looking forward to doing so. Just the other day I was thinking that I'd love to pick up one of her books. They're always short and very interesting to read, so I'm looking forward to this one. So book 1 has been selected. I'm really happy with this choice and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the next one will be. So let's get to roll number 2. A 5? Oh wait, no. Of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we go back. As always, I spoke too soon when I said that I'm looking forward to anything. Gideon the Ninth. Okay, I did not expect that, but it could be interesting. The most fun you'll ever have with a skeleton. Well, that's a bit presumptuous. You don't know what kind of fun I've had with skeletons. So, Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir probably is an adult, I think, sci-fi or sci-fantasy about necromancers. That's pretty much all I know about it. I've been wanting to read this one for many years and I haven't done so because there are a lot of books that I want to read and this one is very high up on my shelf, so it never really crosses my mind whenever I'm thinking what I would like to read next. Either way, I think this could be an interesting read. It's finally time to get to it, and while I didn't want it to be in this forceful way, I'm still kind of happy that it came up. Oh, I've also heard that it's kind of weird in the way that it's written, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Alright, so we're done with roll number 2 as well, and we hit a bit of a bump. I'm not entirely happy with this development, but it could be worse. I mean, we got a nice book, so I'm not too mad about it. Let's get to roll number 3. A 7. Alright, not too bad. I so wish we would have passed that first Dead Marshes tile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Alright, this is not ideal because I was kind of hoping that we'll be passed by the first Dead Marshes tile by now, but you know, plans don't always work out. Let's see. Treebeard, read the oldest book on your TBR. Pause. So I initially picked a different book for this prompt, but then upon further consideration, I realized that I misunderstood the prompt's meaning. I initially took it to mean the book that has been on my TBR the longest, but then I realized that we already have a different card with that same prompt. So therefore, this one should mean the actual oldest book that I have on my TBR. And we all understand that we can have different sources of TBR. We can have books that we want to read but haven't written down. But I decided to go with the ones that I have in a list. And in my TBR list, the oldest actual book is The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. This is a middle grade classic that I've never read in my life, but always wanted to because it sounds so adorable. I'm looking forward to it, and I have it physically actually, so I'm really happy that it came up. So, 3 books on the TBR, and so far I'm quite happy with them, to be honest with you. I hope things continue in this fashion in terms of the quality of the books that I get, not the rolls that I've been doing. You know what I mean. Anyway, time for roll number 4. No, what? You have got to be kidding me. Unbelievable. I think I might need an exorcist very soon. Oh, look. We're back at the start. Well, technically speaking, things did continue in the same fashion as before, as in I landed on prompt cards and then landed on the same Dead Marshes tile. Twice. Phenomenal. Let's see. Something good, please. A Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir. This is the third, I think, book in the Ember and the Ashes, and I've actually DNF'd this book and this entire series already because I couldn't stand the way that the author was writing it. I was really frustrated all of the time, even though I really liked the first book and the whole series had a lot of potential. So this is not going to be it. So let's try another time. Fairy Tale. Oh, this is by Stephen King. 1 second. So, Fairy Tale by Stephen King. No clue what it's about. I think it's fantasy. I know it was published somewhat recently. I bought it because of the cover and because it's Stephen King, and I wanted to read more by him. It's kind of chunky, 500 odd pages. I'm kind of happy that this came up because I've been reading a little bit more Stephen King recently and I've been enjoying a little bit better his older works, but I've been wanting to see what this is about because I've heard people say good things about it. I wasn't planning on picking it up this month, but I guess it's on the table now, and that's that. All right, we have 4 books on the TBR, and yet we are still somehow at the beginning of the map. To say the least, things are not going too great. Nevertheless, we shouldn't lose hope. After all, this is just a pool of books that we get to choose from, so the more the merrier, I guess. Now let's get to roll number 5. Finally. Alrighty, that's what I'm talking about. We have 9, 10, 11. So we landed on the series tile, and after a short deliberation, I decided to treat myself and read a rather new release. I think it came up in April, if I'm not mistaken, and that is A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the second book in the Shadow of the Leviathan series, the first of which was The Tainted Cup, if I'm not mistaken. I read it last year and I enjoyed it immensely, and I was really looking forward to this one, but I didn't have the opportunity to incorporate it in the TBR until now, and given how the June situation is going so far, I think I should put it in the TBR while I still have the opportunity, because you never know how many jars I'm gonna have to be pulling books from now on. Did this sentence make sense? I guess I'll find out during editing. So we have 5 books on the TBR and we finally was able to make some decent progress. Hopefully things are gonna progress a little bit better from now on, because honestly, this sort of start is kind of frustrating. Now let's get to roll number 6. Anything but 7. How is this possible? I can't. This is not normal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And guess where we're going? Don't say anything, okay? Let's just ignore this whole thing. Let's pretend like it's fine. 1984. I've already read this one. I'm sorry, the jar is not entirely updated, but there's way too many books for me to be able to keep track of whatever, you know what I mean. Let's try again. Can you tell I'm a little frustrated? The Night Watch. Oh, 1 second. Man, this took me forever to find. The Night Watch by Sergei Lukyanenko is a young adult paranormal fantasy I don't really know what it's about. I'm assuming all of those things about the book because I remember somebody telling me that it's about vampires. The book was recommended by a friend of mine. He's actually the husband of a good friend of mine, and I think he has a good reading taste. So I bought the book based on his recommendation like 2 years ago and never even thought about it once ever since. I think it was actually on my 12 books recommended by 12 friends to read in 12 months challenge that I did in 2023, but I never got to it. It never ever came up. So I guess I can give it a try right now, provided that I don't get 20 books on my TBR in June, which it's shaping up to be a pretty likely scenario, so who knows. I'm kind of looking forward to the book. It could be an interesting read. As I said, I think this gentleman has a very good reading taste. I choose to think of this circumstance as a good thing. So we have, what is it, 6 books on the TBR already. We are back to the first Dead Marshes tile, and I am on my very last nerve. So let's get to roll number 7. $11. Why do I have a bad feeling about this? This better not land me where I think it's gonna land me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, thank God. 9, 10, 11. I mean, this was a good roll, and I want to be happy, but I'm kind of pissed off still, so. Let's see what book number 7 is going to be. Pipeweed. Read a friend's favorite book. I hate the fact that most of my friends read romantasy, because now all the favorite books I can think of are books I don't want to read. Okay, so as it turns out, I have the perfect book for this prompt because recently I borrowed one of my friends' favorite book, and that is Samodiva by Krasi Zurkova. This is the Bulgarian edition, and it's written by a Bulgarian author, but I believe it was originally published in English. I will overlay the English cover over here, and I believe it's set in the Princeton University. I don't really know what the book is about. The word Samodiva actually is a mythological creature from the Bulgarian and Eastern European folklore in general, but I don't believe the title is literal. I think it's supposed to represent the woman that we follow in this book, but please don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure. And I'm sorry if you're seeing flickering. My ring light is really acting up crazy and it's really frustrating on top of all the other frustrating things tonight. I'm looking forward to reading this one. Again, I don't know pretty much anything about it, and I promised to my friend to read it one of these days, and I guess now I really have to. So, 7 books on the TBR. The last one a bit surprising, even though it shouldn't have been, considering that I borrowed it with the intention of reading it, but I just didn't expect it to be as soon. Either way, I'm excited about it. I'm always looking forward to books that I'm not familiar with at all. Now, it's time for roll number 8. I feel like every even roll this game has been a nightmare, and I'm a little bit worried about this one, which is ridiculous, obviously, but anyway, let's get to roll number 8. Oh, what the hell. 2. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And we'll do the TBR jar. I mean, short of going backwards, this couldn't have been much worse, right? Every even roll this game. Let's see. Watership Down by Richard Adams, and this was recommended by Rhonda's Ruminations on Reading, I believe. I'm sorry, Rhonda. I love it every time I see a comment from you. I have a very hard time reading this font. Anyway, Watership Down by Richard Adams is, I think, a very popular middle grade, is it, book about rabbits, if I'm thinking about the same book. I've never read this one. I know it's very popular in the US, but it's not that big of a thing here. At least it's not a thing that we read as children. And I'm looking forward to reading it because I've always been curious, what exactly is it about? I've heard that it has a rather heavy content. Again, I'm hoping I'm talking about the proper book and I'm not making too big of a fool of myself right now. But anyway, thank you so much, Rhonda, for recommending me this book. I'm looking forward to reading it. I don't think it's going to be a very long read, so it will be a good addition to this already kind of crazy TBR. Alrighty, we are done with 8 books so far, and while I'm really happy about the last one, it's shaping up to be yet again a total mess. The game is not really being my friend, my friends. Alright, enough complaining. Time for roll number 9. Seven. I think we should be fine. Oh yeah, we're definitely fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All cards on the table. I was kind of hoping we'd be past that Dead Marshes tile, the last one we haven't landed on yet in this game, but it was still a decent roll. So let's see what our next prompt is going to be. The Shire. Read a book whose author is from the same town as you. What? Oh, I really don't feel... Wait a minute. I do believe I still have Boromir's special skill, which allows me to redraw a card, and I'm going to use it right now because I really don't feel like looking for a book written by a person that's from the same town as me. It's going to take forever, and I'm probably not going to be in the mood for it, let's be honest. I already have all kinds of weird books on my TBR. Let's see. Battle of the Pelennor Fields, a book with an apocalyptic / dystopian setting. I'm actually kind of in the mood for that. So let me think about it. So this took a while, but I finally decided to go with Metro 2033. This is the Bulgarian cover. I will overlay the English one for a while on top of it. The book is by Dmitry Glubovsky and is set in the year 2033 after the world has suffered a nuclear disaster and people are hiding in the Moscow subway, which is the biggest bomb shelter in the world, if I'm not mistaken. And there are some scary things happening. I don't know much about it beyond what I just said. My mom has read it and she said that she kind of liked it, but she had some issues with it. I already purchased the whole series because I like the covers. What can you do about it? I think I purchased it 3 or 4 years ago, and again, never looked at it like with most of the books that I own, but I'm looking forward to reading it. I'm kind of in the mood for scary things, so I hope this one delivers. It is a bit of a chunker though, again, 500 and something pages. So I'm not doing myself a big favor by selecting something so chunky, but I mean, I want to read it, so why not? Okay, we have 9 books. We're still not out of the map, but we're getting there. And I mean, this could be the last roll if we're lucky, which we're not, but there's always hope, you know? So let's get to roll number 10. What? Wait, I think it's cool. This is way too close to the Dead Marshes tile, but at least we're passing it. 1, 2, 3. Barely, but we are. Well, I told you we weren't lucky, didn't I? Anyway, at least we passed the Dead Marshes tile. That's something. Let's see. Faramir's Sacrifice. Read a book from a genre you dislike. I just got this prompt like 2-3 months ago. I think 2 months ago. And it was romantasy and I didn't finish the book, so now I get it again because things aren't bad enough. Whatever, let me go get a book. Okay, so I picked up a book, and it's of course romantasy again, because whenever I think of a genre I dislike, this one immediately pops up in my head. So we'll go with Roar by Cora Carmack. This is a new adult romantasy, if I'm not mistaken, and I purchased it all the way back in 2018 or 2019, I'm not 100% sure, and never ever thought of picking it up. I bought it because I liked the cover, to be honest, and that's the only reason. I don't know anything about it, and I probably will dislike it considering my experience with new adult romantasy recently, but you never know. I will try to give it a try. For some reason I think there were storms involved in the premise of the book, and if that's the case, there is a chance because I do like storms both in books and in real life, and if nothing else, again, the cover is very pretty. Okay, so we have 10 books on the TBR. We are nearly there. We just need one more roll. It doesn't even have to be that good. Just one more semi-decent roll and we'll be out of the map. So let's get to roll number 11. You know, many a time while playing this game, I have considered re-rolling, and every time I told myself that if I do it, all the fun is lost and there's no point in playing it. But right now, this moment right here, this is where I'm really being tested. All right. This is such a cosmic joke. I don't even know what to say anymore. My precious, read the book you are looking forward to the most. Why, thank you very much. I was gonna do that anyway. So, I was gonna pick this book for completing the map, but since I'm prompted to do it now anyway, I'm gonna go with Cold Silver for Souls by Tori Tekken. This is an adult, I think, self-published, Western-inspired fantasy, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to know too much about it, but I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I already like Tori's writing, so I'm very, very, very much looking forward to it. And again, this was gonna be my last book for my June TBR, but this is the book that I'm looking forward to reading the most this month, so I might as well pick it up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 11 books on the TBR, and we only have one more roll left because there's no possibility for me to roll 0 or -1. At least I think so. I mean, we haven't tried yet. So there's no point to roll, but I'm gonna do it anyway, simply for the sake of the ritual. So let's get to roll number 12. Ah, but of course, 11. Very timely, right when I don't need it. And we're out of the map. And we're finally out of the map, believe it or not. And since my plans for picking up the final book were kind of foiled by the last prompt card that I got, I'm actually gonna go with a book I'm already reading and is kind of a leftover from May, and that is Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. This is the first book in the Sun Eater series, and again, since I'm already reading it, I might as well just add it to the TBR to make it a little bit easier on myself, if that's even possible. I'm already about 50% into it, and I'm having quite a good time, so I'm looking forward to continuing with it. And so at the end, my TBR for June is going to include Peril at End House by Agatha Christie, Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muin, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, which I definitely am, The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame, Fairy Tale by Stephen King, A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett, The Night Watch by Sergei Lukyanenko, Wild Alone by Krasi Zurkova, Watership Down by Richard Adams, Metro 2033 by Dmitry Gluhovsky, Roar by Cora Carmack, Cold Silver for Souls by Tori Tekken, and Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. A hefty TBR to be sure, but as always we will treat it as a pool of opportunity rather than a strict to-do list. I hope you enjoyed watching this video because it took a long time to film and a significant portion of my nervous system is now dead. Please let me know what you're reading in the month of June and what you're looking forward to the most. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to see how I did with my reading in May, check out this video. Bye!